to the end.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching Lighthouse TV. Today I'm so excited to bring to you somebody who I met completely by accident. This woman has surprised me from day one. I wasn't looking for a friend, I wasn't looking for a sister, I wasn't looking for somebody who was going to be so incredibly and oddly like myself, but I found this woman who is so much on a similar path. But what really blew me out of the water was recently I got a chance to see a video of her sharing the gospel in front of her church. She totally brought it. She wasn't afraid at all to challenge the congregation and to really present the gospel in a way that was unmistakable.
Your love's unending, so pursuing, stays renewing my heart. So pour the load of love you hold, God. Show me more of who you are. If you could sacrifice yourself again, just for me, you'd go to the end to see me.
So, I would like to introduce you to my friend, Santesa Gentry. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
How are you? I'm good. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. So are you ready to tell all the people in the interweb land about yourself?
Sure.
All right. So Miss Santesa is from Kansas City, Missouri, and you are a mom of 8.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this blended family situation, the ages of these children, and kind of how this happened.
We both came into it with 3. We met, we had 3 apiece, and then I like to say we had this crazy idea that it was cool to add 2 more people to it. I don't know. Our age ranges, our oldest is 13, our youngest is 4, and then there's 4 boys and 4 girls, so it's like truly the Brady. It's truly the Brady Bunch.
I bet.
Yeah, it's interesting though because there's so many different personalities, and as crazy as it seems, it's not as hard as it sounds.
I have a 13-year-old, so I'm not believing you for a moment.
See, they have 7 different people they can
That's
choose.
True. That's
choose
true.
to be
so
a
I'm like,
companionship.
how do you keep from leaving the 13-year-old at Target?
Oh no, it's the 4-year-old. She's feisty and stubborn and very strong-willed. I always joke if she was the first, I'm sure nobody was be behind her. She'd be all by herself.
She's the one that you said is like the one that like knows when the truth is happening or not, right?
Yes. She's very observant. I like to say I think she can sense if someone has something going on with them, because it's like there's people she'll cling to, and then there's others that she just wants nothing to do with.
So she's a mini you.
Yeah, she's her mother's child.
Yeah.
She is.
Yeah. And I know you run a tight ship.
Yes.
If I had 8 kids, I would be like, how many jobs can I get so that I can get some rest? But you approach that in a completely different manner.
I do.
Yeah.
I approach it from the standpoint of letting every day be today. I don't try to focus so much on everything I have to do. I can honestly say there are days where I used to do that, and I would sit in my room and cry for like 3 hours, and then I didn't get anything done because I wasted 3 hours crying about it.
Right.
So what I do now is I go moment for moment, and I realize that things are not going to go the way I planned. So I plan for the things to go wrong. Like, I expect them to go wrong. So if it goes great, it's like, guess what, guys? We get Sundays. Like, they did that the other day. My 6-year-old walked up and goes, Mom, we didn't have any problems this morning. And I looked at her, I said, y'all did it? She said, no, we didn't argue. We was nice. We brushed our teeth. We got dressed. And we're ready to go. And I said, I got a surprise for you guys. Because she was right. Like, every morning, there's 3 fights. No,
3 fights.
3 of them every single morning. So for that to happen, I do reward them so that they're able to see that when I do good, I receive something, and it's not just when I do wrong, someone yells at me.
Right. I love that. You are catching them doing the right thing and then rewarding them for that. That's awesome. I need you to be my mommy. Okay, so we talked about rewarding them for catching them doing the right thing.
Yes.
You're able to do that because you actually work at home, you stay at home with your children, but you're a full-time student as well.
Yes, I am a full-time student.
Tell us a little bit about what you're studying.
Well, when I'm finished, I'll be an ordained minister, which is kind of I'm learning to accept that. Because when I joined the school, there was actually a bachelor's program. That was cool. I was like, okay, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then they changed things around. I was like, yeah, we decided to do ordination at the end. I was like, what? God, listen. Listen, why? Why do we gotta? Because my biggest thing is titles. Like, I'm not a person that needs a title in front of my name. I simply want people to know that my love is genuine. I want them to see God when they see me.
We had a conversation about that very thing. It is so funny because, like, the first time we met at Urban Cafe?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so shout out to Urban Cafe for awesome vegan bowls. When I met you, we sat down, and I would say probably within the first 10 to 15 minutes of us talking, I was like, I might need to get you to do an Ancestry DNA test or something, because it was like we had known each other for years.
Yeah.
In a matter of minutes. Like, she would say things and I'm like, yes, that's right. You could just see the passion pour out of her. So when she said she doesn't want credit and she doesn't want to be called this, minister is what she does. It's not a title, it's what she ministers to people. And at that meeting, because I'm not going to let you get away without talking about this, that was when she first told me about geographically where she lives and the proximity to the establishment which she lives. Most of us would say, oh, property value. I don't know about the resale on that. That's not what you said.
No. When we heard about the address,
Mm-hmm.
before I realized where the house was, the address, I heard God say, that's it. And I was like, okay. Now, then the other part of me was like, your husband is not going to live on 12th Street. Like, so when we drove by the house, I felt secure. I felt nothing but peace. My husband was like, no. It was a flat no. And I was like, okay.
He's like, I'm going to do a hard pass on that.
Yeah. Well, like she said, it's next door to a club, we'll call it that, where ladies go that are in bondage and don't realize they're in bondage. Yeah, so when we moved, a week before we moved, I actually prayed over that house for 7 days. Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, I grew up with the Baptist faith, so we didn't really anoint, like that wasn't big for us. Mm-hmm. So it was weird for me to do this, but I knew I was supposed to. Mm-hmm. And in doing that, on the third day actually in class, my teacher went on this tangent from nowhere. Like, we were talking about having faith, and she went from having faith to, you gotta anoint your home. And she began to talk about how she walked around this house 20 some odd years ago. Wow. And as she's talking, I'm rocking, and because I'm working to learn when God is speaking to me, and that's okay, that it's nothing wrong with recognizing his voice. So I'm rocking, and she's talking, and I'm just like, wow, should I tell her? I was like, no, I'm not going to tell her. I don't want to interrupt class. And she looks at me and goes, what is the Holy Spirit saying? And I was like, oh, how does she know?
Right.
So I began to say all these things, and she said, you finished whatever the assignment was. And when I tell you, on the 6th day, I went with my sister. We're praying in the backyard. And from nowhere, it was a dry day, from nowhere this rushing wind comes. And she looks at me and she goes, that place is going to come down. The oldest one in Kansas City.
Wow.
That has been there since my grandma.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like a big deal. And when she said that, I was like, yes, it is. We're going to pray for them. Like, I didn't think that I would be doing what I do now.
I would like you to tell everybody about the organization you volunteer with and what you do now.
The organization is called Exodus Cry. They fight through legislation and try to get laws changed to empower women that are either in bondage, whether that's being human trafficked, whether that's the strip club, whether that's prostitution, you name it. If you're in bondage, they're there for you. They do the legal side. I go out with a group called the Lantern Bearers, and we actually go out to the strip clubs, and it's not to pass out Bibles. It's not to, you should change your life, but it's to let you know you're honored. I don't see you, but I see you. Right. I look into your eyes and I can feel your pain. I know that you're there and you have thoughts and you have wisdom, and there's more to you than just what your body has to offer. We talk to the women that are on the streets, and we give out bags, and we call them hope bags. And in these bags are toiletries and just things to encourage, like just a love letter from God. And my biggest thing is I'm intentional about listening to the Holy Spirit when I go out. It's because if God has a message for them, I want them to hear the message.
And what you guys need to know about this isn't at 6 p.m.
Oh, no. It's actually when people are out. From
people
7
that
to
are
3
in that
a.m.
industry.
I still have to get up for school the next day.
Right.
I still get up and I still be a mom and I'm still a wife and I still get lunches made and I still get breakfast made and I still get up and go, but the passion I have for it, I know it's not me.
Right.
I know that my past has equipped me to understand these women in the way that most people want. Yes, we have people who want to do good, they want to help. There's nothing wrong with that. I encourage you, please keep going. But there's something different when you understand someone's heart.
Right. Tell me about the shirt you're wearing.
Wife. I'm a part of an organization. There's actually a yearly conference. Mm-hmm. But she also gets together second Saturdays every month. And it's women coming together, whether you're newlywed, so maybe you're considering a divorce. And what I love about it is we do a Bible study of some sort or a roundtable discussion. And there we have a panel called the Women of Wisdom, which are women that's been married 20 plus years, which is phenomenal to see. You know, it's phenomenal to see women that are here to say, I understand where you are. I understand that you're hurting. But how can God examine you to help your marriage?
I know the enemy had to have like some little whispers about what you could do and what you couldn't do and how effective you were. Yes. So what gave you the motivation to kind of overcome the enemy's lies and say, you know what? Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mother, but I can still go to school and I can still make an impact on people.
He stripped me. That's the best way to describe it. I was actually working before I decided to go back to school. I always worked seasonally for the Internal Revenue Service. I loved it. It was easy money. I sat at a desk, I typed. I got paid almost $20 an hour to do it. Works for me, and I can still work my day job. I was a server. Mm-hmm. I made good money, like good money, great money. But there was a time I sat at my desk and God said to me, go back to school. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'll look into it. You know, I didn't think much of it. I met a random lady at my day job, and she invited me to a women's conference. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. It was totally a God thing. How do I know? It's because we never exchanged information. Like when I said I didn't ask her how much it cost, I didn't ask her, where is it at? I was just like, yeah, I'll go. We exchanged emails. That's it. Like I showed up to the conference not knowing if I was paid for or what was going to happen, but I knew I was supposed to go. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, during one of the praise breaks, they talk about this school. I walked out to this table, Jamie, and they go, there's no way to get financial aid. I said, this is not of God. And, you know, I took the information and I walked away. Fast forward 3 or 4 months, sitting at that desk, hearing that I needed to go back to school, I got an email from the administrator saying, hey, summer classes are starting. And I was like, oh, that's cool, but no, not really interested. And then God told me to leave that job, that $20 an hour job with all the benefits, a 401k, where I was set.
Right.
And I did nothing but type. And I was like, that's not of God.
So what'd your husband say when you said
I was going to quit working?
Uh-huh.
He thought it was funny. But see, what I love is that he trusts me enough to know that I will never say, God said, if God didn't say. Mm-hmm. He was like, okay, what is this going to look like? And me being me, because I'm a planner, I'm like, well, I'll still get unemployment. So it's cool. That'll help pay for school. Like I had a plan, y'all. It was marvelous. Like school was going to be paid for. I had to fight for my unemployment. Up until 24 hours before money was due, I got a call and the lady goes, I'm going to improve this because you always get your unemployment. 24 hours before I needed the money. I fought.
But when you own that piece of it, it means so much more.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take just a small break. It'll feel like you never even left, so stick around. And we're back. Thank you for sticking around. Of course, you went nowhere because through the magic of editing, all of this happened without your knowledge. But here we are still with my friend Santesa Gentry. And before we go any further, I would like to thank the host of today's show, which is Concrete Truth Media and Praise 95. They let us use their studio. So shout out to them for being so generous and giving us a space. Thank you to everyone who has supported the show and who has contributed to the funding of the show. And just so you know, in case you're wondering, why are people contributing? Because it took that many hours to edit the show. Now, that being said, that sound means it's time for the lightning round. Are you ready for the lightning round?
Yes.
All right. Do you say soda or pop?
Pop.
Toilet paper over or under?
I don't care as long as it's on.
Qdoba or Chipotle?
Chipotle.
That's my girl. K-Love or Air One? Or Praise 95?
Praise 95.
Praise 95. Paper book, ebook, or audiobook?
Paper book.
YouTube or Vimeo?
YouTube.
KU, K-State, or Mizzou?
None.
None of them, she says. Heels or flats?
It depends. Feels.
Mmm.
Yeah.
Okay. PJs or sweats?
Sweats.
Missouri or Missouri?
Missouri.
Thank you. Royals or Cardinals?
Royals.
Okay. Laurel or Yanny?
Huh?
I love, okay, so when this show airs, which will probably be in the summer, no one will remember this Laurel or Yanny. But in the show notes, I'll put a link to it so that later in life, when pop culture has moved on, which I'm sure it has, like in the next 5 minutes, you'll know what Laurel or Yanny is. Road trip or flight?
Flight.
All right, mountains or beach?
Both.
Ah, Batman or Iron Man?
Iron Man.
We weren't going to be able to be friends anymore if you didn't answer that correctly. Summer or winter?
Summer.
Facebook or Instagram?
Insta.
American Idol or The Voice?
The Voice.
Gates or Casey Joes?
Gates.
Well, you're on the Mo side. Cable or streaming?
Streaming, definitely.
Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Okay, now this is the true test of friendship right here. Mac or PC?
PC.
Okay, I still love you. God gives grace and mercy,
Yes.
and I have to do the same thing. Yes,
Appreciate
my
it.
poor PC friend. Let's talk a little bit about what some of your favorite inspiring books have been.
Kingdom Woman.
Uh-huh.
I love because it's not talked about in the church enough. It's just talked about the Proverbs 31 aspect of a woman, but it's not talked about how it's okay to be single and to enjoy your singleness, because in the Bible it talks about how it's better sometimes to be single because
You better preach, Paul.
you have time for God and no other distraction.
That's what I tell my sons, especially the 13-year-old. I'm like, why would you want to be worried about somebody else's entire emotions? Like, why?
You don't even want your own.
Right? Thank you.
So I love that one. Peacemaker is one I love. It's part of my class. It's called Dealing with Conflict. I love that book because it makes you realize that we were called to deal with conflict and not avoid.
So these books that Santesa is referencing will be on the episode show notes. So all you have to do is go to LighthouseTV.online to find out about that. I'll also put a link to where you can reach Miss Santesa online. She's like, yay.
Yay.
Right? That's not a real yay. She is so funny because she has this big personality, but she really thinks that with all the gifts God gave her that she's going to be able to remain obscure. Not happening.
I'm working hard at
Not
it.
happening
I need to let it go.
at all. So I just wanted to take a moment to tell you thank you for being a guest on the show.
Thank you.
And this is from me and really from our generous sponsors because they gave the money to be able to do this for you. So there are keys to a Lamborghini in that bag. No, they're not. Let's see what's in the bag. You can just put that on the floor.
Okay.
That's how we roll here.
The mom and me. is
I'll
like,
clean that up. Tell everyone what it says.
Jesus loves you a latte.
Okay, so I have to say, I had to get this for her when I saw it because every now and then she will make a post on Facebook alluding to the fact that she needs someone to bring her coffee.
Yes.
And I live all the way in G-Town, and I really, really wish at that very moment that I could like go and be beamed up and transported to bring you your coffee because you deserve it. And Jesus does love you a latte.
Yes, he does.
As do I. You had mentioned, because we had a little pre-interview chat, you talked about Mr. Jonathan McReynolds and his song Make Room. Tell us what your favorite line from that song is.
I love how
The whole
at the
thing.
end he breaks it down to the things he's willing to let go of. His own plans, his own ambitions, his own drives. Like whatever it is, that is it. That's the favorite line.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, Lord, that I need to remove to make room for you and me. That's all I want to do.
I love it. So I will put a link to that song and Santesa's other favorite song on the show notes, as well as your favorite verse, which is
Exodus 14:14.
Why am I not surprised that it's Exodus?
Hold your peace. I like the New King James Version because it says hold your peace, which means to obtain it and not let it go.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming and chit-chatting with me today. I know that you don't have anything else to do, so it's good that I was able to keep you gainfully employed for just a little while. We don't need you running the streets.
I appreciate it.
I love you so much. Thank you, and thank you all for watching.
You
Bye.
could sacrifice yourself again just for me. You'd go to the end to see me run to you. So I'll run to you, letting go of how I lived and what I've known. To sit here at your throne and worship you.